Hi everyone, it's Rillian again from NarniaWeb.com. Going ahead and do my little analysis of the Hobbit sneak peek for the Desolation of Smaug. What we have here is an interesting shot. We have kind of a heroic pose of Bard. I have a theory. I think, because this is one of the big questions, is how are they going to break up the different stories? Where does Smaug die is, for instance, a big question. Is this middle portion going to be largely the battle with Necromancer, and then Smaug dies in the third film with the Battle of Five Armies? No, I think Smaug's going to die in this one. I think this is where Bard kills him. So, heroic shot here. I think this is a big clue. Let's move on.
The Lord of Silver Fountains. The King of Carven Stone. The King beneath the mountain shall come into his own.
And the bell shall ring in gladness at the mountain king's return. But all shall fail in sadness, and the lake will shine and burn.
You have no right to enter that mountain.
Okay, Luke Evans, the actor for Bard, looks way too much like Orlando Bloom for my taste. But anyway, they're extending his character a bit here, obviously. See a bit with his wife and child. And we'll just have to see how they take it. They're obviously making him a little bit more of a hostile character to Thorin here initially. But again, character extensions, we'll just see how it works out. A lot of it's going to depend on more of the writing and how well they fit into the story, whether they become a distraction or enhancement to the story.
I have the only right.
What is this place?
The Desolation of Smaug.
Okay, real quick, look, Thorin is not holding Orcus, the sword he got in the first film and in the book. I'm curious, what happened to it?
Destroy the dragon. Take back your homeland.
The dwarf will never be king.
Okay, interesting new plot dimension they're adding here. In the appendices to The Lord of the Rings, we learned that Gandalf suspected Sauron had Smaug as part of his mental calculations, as far as maybe a resource he could use, an ally he could draw upon. And so here they're kind of taking it to a new element. They're making Thorin kind of a fixture in Sauron's mind, whereas in the book, you don't get the idea that Sauron gave that much, or the Necromancer gave that much thought to Thorin. Maybe he gave thought to Smaug. But here, the idea is, well, Sauron has his mind on Thorin as well, and sees Thorin as an enemy and doesn't want Thorin to rule as king of the mountain, because then he would be, a huge enemy. So they're adding that aspect. I think to an extent it makes sense, but almost, I don't want to say it makes sense. They kind of have to do it, because otherwise the whole Necromancer plot feels very much detached. So it's kind of one more tie-in that they're kind of like almost like the web of lies. They've added the Necromancer as a huge portion of the story where it wasn't in the book, and now they're having to add this as a tie-in because of that, because otherwise it would feel just too detached. So anyway, it just seems, the question in my mind will become, how far-fetched does it feel? In the book, there's a level of plausibility as they're going about this adventure and what feels real. To a certain extent, sometimes I'll wonder if we'll be able to step back and still say, oh, yeah, this makes sense. Sauron will be thinking this way, and so on. So we'll have to see if the web of lies kind of holds together.
Our time has come again.
It is not our fight.
Are we not part of this world?
You seek that which would bestow upon you the right to rule. The Arkenstone.
What's that?
That, Master Burglar, is why you are here.
Okay, I could see, just watching the first film, the fact that they mentioned the Arkenstone and show it and feature it in the prologue. I thought, oh, they're really enhancing the Arkenstone bit. I mean, it's an interesting bit in the book. It's an extremely valuable jewel, and it features into an interesting political plot twist with Bilbo and the Elven King and everyone at the end in the kind of the third act of the story. But they're obviously enhancing it here. But why does it give him the right to rule? Okay, so they mentioned that his grandfather saw it, took it as a sign of divine right. But why would it necessarily mean that it would give him the right to rule? That doesn't really make sense. So for them to make the Arkenstone something beyond a mere treasure doesn't really make sense to me. And so at this point, I don't really like what they're doing, and it just seems like it'll be confusing and won't hold up. So they'd have to have some kind of new bit of information for it to even make sense what they're doing here.
They're in grave danger.
The world is in grave danger. I fear for you.
If this is to end in fire.
Spoiler alert, oh my goodness. Okay, so I didn't even know what this was when I first saw it, but this has got to be the arrow that kills Smaug. It's obviously an arrow. What else could it be? It featured like this in this shot. This means that Smaug is going to die in the second film. So we have the whole quest basically is going to mostly be complete, at least as far as the book would be concerned, in the second film, leaving the Battle of Five Armies to basically take over the third film. This is huge. This gives us a lot of insight into how the story is going to be structured. And I've got a lot of questions. Obviously, I do have questions either way. There'd be questions as far as how well it would work, depending on what, it wouldn't matter whether Smaug died in the second film or the third film. So this is huge. This is going to be awesome. Can't wait to see the death scene. Interested to see how it's going to play out in the story.
Then we will all burn together.
You can't give up now!
It never ceases to amaze me. The courage of hobbits.
Wow, again, great special effects. Thank you, Weta. Thank you, Richard Taylor. So again, I was looking at this shot, and this was in the last trailer, and I was wondering about it then, didn't get a chance to talk about it. Does Thorin take on Smaug? Do the dwarves all try to tackle him, try to kill him? Does Thorin see himself as a dragon slayer? Really wondering what's going on here. It seems like I say that like, oh, what's going on here? What's going on here? But all we know is that apparently it looks like he and Smaug get into some kind of a fight, and we don't see him with Orcrist in this shot. So again, not sure what's going on, but we'll just have to see. And yeah, maybe Thorin's going to turn out to be even more of an action hero in the next film.
I am king under the mountain.
And in conclusion, Benedict Cumberbatch never sounded more awesome. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe with the link below. And I am recording with 22 days and 40 minutes until The Hobbit is released. So, see y'all at the premiere.